My dear, don't forget our wedding's at 3.
Fear not, I shall return a hero!
No. That's the end? No! We're supposed to be married! What about my happily ever after? Hold on! Wait! Stop!
Return a hero!
No! Wait! Come back! Wait! I'm telling you, you're gonna...
Worry not, my darling. For your
wait,
love,
listen.
I shall slay the dragon and return a hero!
Why am I marrying this man?
Hi everyone, welcome to the 2022 Rookie Awards interview series. My name is Christina Ryan and I'm a senior texture artist at Industrial Light and Magic. I'm also a judge on the Rookies and the host of this interview series. So that was the work of Alexandria. Her entry won Rookie of the Year in our 3D animation category, and I've been really excited to meet Alex. I've always been a fan of 3D animation and always mesmerized about how you guys are able to achieve this. So I'm really excited to meet her. I'm going to go ahead and bring Alex on right away. Hi, Alex.
Hi.
So nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you, Christina.
So I was just hoping that you might be able to just start off by telling us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name's Alexandria Siah. I'm from Singapore, but I'm currently living in the United States. I'm a recent graduate from Ringling College of Design. I just graduated in May. And yeah, I do animation for a living, and yeah, I love it. So yeah, I don't know what else to say about me.
Well, when did you decide to get into animation and like specifically animating as a career?
Yeah, I always liked animating. It's I always loved animation. I grew up watching a lot of like animated films when I was young, especially Prince of Egypt. Because when I had like church school and stuff back home in Singapore, and I didn't like church school. It bored me to death. But the Prince of Egypt was one of the few things that was like interesting. I got to watch time to time, and the detail and the story behind it is so amazing, and that really like inspired me to kind of like go down like an artistic path and like want to like go into animation. And coincidentally, one of the professors I met at Ringling, he is the director of the Prince of Egypt. So I guess I guess I'm an animator because of the work he did. So yeah.
Wow. So like, yeah, honestly, he obviously truly inspired you to get into that. I mean, could you tell us a little bit more about your school? Did you have to learn everything in the pipeline, or were you able to focus on animation during the school?
Yeah, I went to Ringling College of Design. I've also went to Singapore Polytechnic for the diploma in digital animation. So I've been through 2 animation schools.
Wow.
So I went to the one in Singapore first before I like kind of like went overseas to kind of further my studies in animation at Ringling. At Ringling, we kind of learned the entire pipeline from the story creation all the way to final compositing, and that's but at Singapore in Singapore we kind of learned just like the fundamentals and then kind of based like what we want to do. So I went into like the animation class, and that's where I focused on. But I do like what Ringling had, where it kind of like taught us everything, because one, I can make a film like this, from scratch, from just like ideas in my head to an actual thing that people can watch. But it also kind of like helped me to know like what I would like to do after I graduate. Now, I always wanted to do animation. I always wanted to be an animator, but being able to kind of work through like every single part of it, like sometimes people are like, oh, I want to, after they work on it, they're like, oh, I want to be a modeler instead. For me, it kind of just like I ended up going like, yeah, I think animation's for me, kind of thing. But yeah, I went to Ringling for 4 years. That's the entire like course of the computer animation department.
Yeah.
And yeah, I learned a lot of things there. It was my first time kind of like living alone in another country,
Yeah.
moving like like thousands of miles away to the other side of the earth. But yeah, it was a really good experience, and I got to meet a lot of friends and professors that like guide me through this journey. And yeah, I graduated. So
Wow, that's so exciting. I can only imagine how challenging that would have been, especially during COVID, having to go overseas and
oh
study.
yeah, COVID happened during my junior year
Yeah.
of Ringling, and that was it was really hard because I had to fly back home because
Yeah.
the school had to shut down and stuff, and all of the classes were at like 1 a.m. in the morning kind of thing. I
Yeah.
had classes from I think 12:30 to like 9 a.m. in the morning because all the times were opposite because
Oh, of
12
course.
a.m. is 12 p.m. Or like
Yeah.
12 p.m. in the afternoon in Florida where my school is 12 a.m. back in Singapore. So all my class was like at midnight. So this film was actually made during like the story like pre-production section of it was made during that COVID period. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God, goodness. Gosh, I wouldn't have coped.
It was definitely challenging. Um, my sleep schedule is just like a mess afterwards. But it was good and bad in a way because we kind of learned how to like work remotely. Like currently I'm working remotely and I kind of got used to being able to have that work-life balance of
Mhm.
you know, being to work from home but still focus on like getting stuff done and still
Yeah,
being to like relax in the same kind of location.
of course.
Yeah.
Wow, what a story. Did you ever manage to make it back to Florida to study in person, or did you complete the whole thing remotely?
I did my whole third year in remotely, and then for my last year of senior year, which is focusing on just like making the film, we did that all in person. So
Oh,
thankfully, I got to spend my graduation and graduate like in person.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm so glad you got to go back.
Yeah,
What a
it's
crazy drive.
definitely like scary because it's like, am I gonna spend my 4 years and then graduate through a screen? That was definitely a
Oh, that
concern in
sounds
the
so
back of
sad.
my mind. Yeah, a lot of my seniors had to go through that,
Yeah,
and that was a real challenge for a lot of
yeah.
them. But yeah,
Oh,
it's definitely something that I wouldn't want to experience again. But it's a you can tick that off the bucket list.
yeah. Well, look, I'm so glad that you were able to get through it and sort of stay
Yeah.
strong through that period. Again, incredibly difficult. So well done.
Thank you.
Are you able to tell us a little bit about what you're doing now? I heard you're working on some exciting things.
Yeah, I'm currently working at Electronic Arts on their Jedi Fallen Order sequel, which is called Jedi Survivor. There's a teaser. It's really cool. I'm working on like the gameplay animation side, so a lot of like people like talking,
Yeah,
like interacting with the characters, and it's been really fun. I always wanted to go into film animation, like making animated films and stuff. So it's my first time like going into games instead, and like it's different from what I thought it would have been. But I have like really cool colleagues. Everyone's been really nice, and I've been enjoying myself a lot. For yeah, I've been at EA since like June-ish, so I'm still a
yeah.
newbie in a way. But yeah, I'm learning a lot while I'm here. Yeah,
Wow. And so you're working remote for EA?
yeah,
Yeah. And how are
yeah.
you finding that? Are you has it been challenging? I guess you're already used to working remote through your studies.
Yeah, I'm like used to like working remotely, but I do miss kind of like being able to interact in person.
Yeah.
Sometimes the company like invites us out for like lunches and stuff.
Yeah.
we recently went to Universal Studios for like a whole thing. So
What?
it's cool. But, sometimes it's nice to be able to like interact with colleagues and like kind of like banter around the water cooler. What they
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
Where is EA based? What country is that in?
EA is, I think they're majority based in the US. They have
Yeah.
different like branches. I think they have one in LA, they have one in Orlando, they have one in like, Texas, Canada. So they have a lot of places here and there. So I don't think there's like a specific like one branch, but I think the company itself is like from the US. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Okay. And are you enjoying it? Did you find that your studies properly or adequately prepared you for working in the industry?
Oh yeah, I definitely like understand more about like animation, like learning about like rigging and modeling. I can like tell um if like there's something wrong with a rig. I can like let them
Yeah.
know. Like knowing the progress of like how it's gonna like from like start to finish, how is it gonna get done. It helps to like kind of give feedback to other departments if there's an
Yeah.
issue like as an animator that we need to kind of fix. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's been cool. I really enjoyed it like so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what would you say like would be the most challenging part about working, like just working in general as opposed to being a student?
I don't know. It's a weird feeling because when I was at Ringling, it was. I mean, we always joke about it, but we always call it like the 4-year boot camp because we're just like go in, we work and work and work and work. We finish also we finish this entire film like in a year, which is nuts. If you tell that to anyone else outside the industry, they're like one person doing this entire thing. Like I can't believe it. Like
Yeah.
you're probably like working overnights and stuff. And we did. We work like I would like go back to I would like work in the labs till like they kicked us out at like 2 a.m. and then go back home and then continue working and then come back like at like 8 a.m. It was just like the grind was there. So I think one of the things that I'm still kind of trying to get used to is it's not as grindy when you
Yeah.
like get into work.
Yeah. That's
There's
great.
actual like piecing. There is the 40 hours that we have to like follow, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely that, and also as working remotely, trying to balance between working from home and being in kind of your safe space while you know doing work as well. So that's definitely a challenge. But it's having it's weird to say, but like COVID definitely prepared me for that in good and bad ways. So yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, working remote is a challenge. Because I mean, I do hybrid, which I think is probably the best out of both worlds.
Yeah.
You get half half. I find that a really good balance. But working remotely, there's a lot of challenges. 5 days a week. So I
Yeah, the
imagine.
good thing is you always have like the snacks that you want on hand. you know,
Little snack drawer. My fridge
yeah,
is right there. It's dangerous.
get a little like snack corner. It's like, oh, I need a drink, and just pop to the fridge and get a drink. So,
It's so good. I've got two cats here. I've locked them in the room. Otherwise, they'd be naughty. But normally they're sitting at my desk, so that is a
oh,
bonus
that's
about
lovely.
working from
Yeah,
home.
we have like a bunch of like pet show and tells all the time too. Like people just bring it's like, oh, my dog's here. Here's my dog again. It's like I love that. It's great.
Oh dear, I love that. um, so I was just hoping, Alex, maybe we'd have a chat about your rookies entry.
Yeah.
First of all, what made you enter the rookies?
Well, it's weird because I've heard of the rookies before, but I didn't know it was kind of like a judging kind of like
Yeah,
competition thing. I heard of it more kind of like art station where you showcase work and stuff. I
yeah,
didn't know there was like a competition section. So when I was making my film, my professor Paul Downs, he was like kind of suggesting us to like put ourselves out there, showcase our things like in festivals, and like it really helps as someone who isn't from the US with
yeah,
like visas and like having like I guess not really the good word for it, but like accolades to like show that
Yeah.
you're a functioning member of society. So yeah, I joined the rookies like with my film, and I was like, I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna put myself out there, if
Yeah.
someone sees it, it'll be great. I didn't expect to win, honestly, because I've seen so many like amazing like works, not just from me or my school, but like from like all
Yeah.
other places and like independent films and stuff. So it's cool. it's
Oh,
good.
so
I'm kind
exciting.
of shy that I won it.
Oh, don't
I
be
mean,
shy. Be confident. Your work speaks for itself.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes like you look at your work and
Yeah.
as like an artist, I think it's really common where you kind of look at your work and go, yeah, I don't really like it. I see the mistakes more than anyone else because I
Yeah.
make and stuff. So
Yeah.
having people look at it and like smile and laugh and like
Yeah.
enjoy the story that I just created up in my head,
Yeah.
it really makes it really has like a nice feeling to it. I think that's really what like pushed me to like
Mm.
continue with animation, like having that reaction, no matter whether it's like the laughing at like the characters or being shocked about what happens, or even like some films, they make people cry and make people angry. Having that reaction, it makes me feel like the audience is like into this story that I made.
Yeah.
It's like they're involved with it, they're invested in it, and yeah, as an animator and storyteller, that's like the best feeling.
Oh, wow. It truly is, isn't it? Like I really empathize with everything you just said.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Have you found that maybe taking a step back from it and then looking at it now, are you able to look at it with fresh eyes and see it for like outside of
Maybe
the
it's
drama
a
and go,
bit
wow,
early. It might be a bit early. I
look at
just completed it in May. So
it.
it's only been a couple of months, and I watch it here and there, and sometimes I go, I see something wrong, but it's like I can't really change it at this point. Now
Yeah.
I just gonna be like, stop telling anyone that happened, and
No,
but yeah,
that's
but
it.
sometimes
Yeah, no one notices
I
it, doesn't
see it.
it?
Yeah, I can't wait to release it and like see the comment section. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna scroll through it and go
Yeah.
like this is funny. I'm glad they like it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, nothing bad they say about it. But yeah,
I,
um,
when does it get released?
I don't have an official release date. I was planning the end of 2022,
Yeah.
but it really depends on it currently going down. Like I have like it in a bunch of like festivals at the moment, and some of them need
Yeah.
to they have like certain requirements of like when it's like being able to release. So right now tentatively end of 2022, but I'll definitely make like an official announcement when it's gonna be released. Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll keep an eye on it. I can't wait to see it,
Yeah.
forthcoming and out there.
Yeah, you watched it, right? The film. Like what did you think about it?
Oh, I thought it was very creative. I loved the
Oh, thank
story.
you.
I was like, oh, what a cute like Disney movie, and then like his head gets chopped off. I was like, oh, oh, okay. No, I thought it was very clever and very
Yeah.
funny and very, I don't know, like it just made you want to keep watching, right?
Yay.
Sometimes
That's
if
nice
it's a
to hear.
long, like if it's a couple minutes long, sometimes you go, oh, you want to wait, to wait till the story picks up. But I found it
Mhm.
quite engaging, quite quickly. So, and it didn't I didn't get the feeling that I needed to skip any parts or scroll it to get to the end. I was like fully engaged. Yep, I want to watch this whole movie. So I
Yeah,
thought that was really, really, like, really great.
yeah, it's nice to hear.
The story really is, I think, especially with animation, story is a lot. Like the way
Mm.
the characters move and the way that they're able to express their feelings as well as the story is so important. And yeah, like the visuals, like, is important as well. But great
It's
visuals
that
are
initial
what.
kind of like intrigue that like has to stick to like get you to continue watching kind of thing, right?
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, I think you've got to grasp the audience straight away when you've got like a project like this,
Mhm.
and I think you achieved that really well.
Yeah, when I was making the film, because this is a solo film, and at
Yeah.
Ringling we kind of have like restrictions on like how we made our film. So for a solo film, we were only allowed a minute 55, and
Good.
two characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just like limitations that the school provided to make sure that we actually finish
Yeah.
our film. So like the more people is like on your team, like a 2 people team or a 3 people team, they get more time and
Mhm.
more characters. But as a solo filmmaker, we only got a minute 55. So we
Yeah.
have to kind of like get the whole story like in there. They need to understand exactly what's going
Yeah.
on, what this whole story
Exactly.
is about, like just from like the first couple of seconds.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was definitely challenging, but I enjoyed it.
Oh, no doubt. But I think sometimes a shorter movie is, I mean, like if you can tell a story in a minute and a half or 2 minutes, like we can gauge your potential and your artistic ability in 2 minutes. You don't need 4 minutes to be able to
Mhm.
see that. So I think, I mean, that's great that they put that sort of restriction on to help you, manage your expectations.
Yeah.
I was actually going to ask because, yeah, like being a solo film, being an animator as well, like you had to take on everything in the pipeline, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm just interested to hear how did you cope with the modeling and the texturing, the rigging, and everything like that? Were you ever tempted to maybe bring in someone else to help you with some of the elements that perhaps you weren't trying to apply for in a job later on?
Well, we aren't allowed to do that. We have to make the film by ourselves, which is definitely challenging because you have to be good at everything to succeed. If like
Yeah,
one thing fails, it will like kind of like snowball down the line. You'll like see like, oh, it's not gonna work out properly. So thankfully, I have like previous experience with like Maya, going to like 2 animation schools, or at least the one that I experienced like in Singapore. So I had kind of like a background already in animation. Yeah, because I like before Ringling, I was working on in like a local studio, just like on like children's television shows. Do you know like Dog McStuffins? It's like a Disney show. I worked like
yeah,
briefly on that. I worked like on like it's just like small like kid shows, the kind of thing. So I from that experience, I kind of knew baseline, like the pipeline, what is it going to
yeah,
be about. So like going in, I was like, okay, these are the stuff that need to be done at this certain time. But like I said, it's a bit hard when you have to do everything, and the professors like really helped a lot. My professor was Paul Downs. He used to work at Blue Sky, back when it was still
yeah,
like a
wonderful.
company.
Yeah.
And
Oh
yeah,
wow.
he was really helpful, really supportive. And yeah, getting like feedback from my friends. If I'm not sure like how to like do this certain thing, I'll ask around. We even got like feedback from seniors and like guest artists who like
Yeah,
came to school to kind of like give us like feedback on anything that as we like go down the pipeline work.
yeah,
But yeah, it was definitely challenging, especially for my shot because uh, it had a lot of things that needed special attention to,
mm,
that normal workflows didn't have. Like I had to worry about like dress simulation because she has a wedding dress.
yeah,
I had
yeah,
to worry about like how to make an entire forest, you know.
yeah.
So those are like definitely things that I had to like work around. I had to like learn like marvelous design on the fly because they
Wow.
didn't teach that in school, but I needed that for my wedding dress.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was definitely a challenge, and fortunately, everything worked out well.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, I guess like it's kind of like the positives and negatives of like learning everything through and like
Mm.
me having to like make sure I do all of it in school is that yeah, if you aren't good at one thing, it really like hurts down the line.
Yeah. So if you had your time again, would you do the whole film yourself again, or would you try and team up with people with different skill sets in different areas?
I don't know. I think I would maybe like team up with people if like I could find anyone interested.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't mind doing it solo. Probably not in a year. I think that was the
yeah,
setback that
not a
really
lot.
like took the most out of me. If even like 2 years would be better than like cramming
Yeah,
everything into like 1 year. But yeah, I would honestly I would make a film again.
yeah,
It was a really like fun process. Uh, like coming up with stories. I've always enjoyed making stories
yeah.
and being able
Wow.
to like take it off just like the paper and putting it into an actual thing. I never like did that before, and yeah, like seeing it, its final work. So it's just like really rewarding in so many ways.
Wow. Oh, like I can imagine seeing it now, just looking at it and going, wow, I made that whole thing. Like how
Yeah,
rewarding. Um, how did you
yeah.
go with the like the sound design and the voice actors and things like that? How does that work with your school?
With sound designers and voice actors, and also like the music, we had to get those externally. So we like I like scrounge around the internet, go to like voice acting websites and just like hire people like any director would. So,
Wow, really?
yeah, it's insane. Like you really become like a mini studio in a way. You're doing everything. You're doing the promotion, you're doing the marketing, you're doing your crowdfunding,
Yeah.
your own film. Yeah,
Wow.
it's cool. It's a lot of things that, uh, as a creative person, the logistics section I'm just like not
Yeah.
as good at, like
Yeah.
business wise.
Oh, business
But
side of things, right?
yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
But thankfully, because Ringling is pretty well known as an animation school, and they have a lot like connections, and previous like
Yeah.
seniors have worked with like other composers and sound designers before. Like
Yeah.
I reached out to like my previous seniors and asked them for advice, and they kind of like directed me to people that they recommended. So thankfully, like I got people that and they know what the pipeline of like the Ringling film is, and were able to like also guide me along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. No, that's absolutely like I wasn't
yeah.
expecting
It's
that.
it's
Yeah.
surprisingly hard to describe music that you want through an email.
Yeah.
You're like, can I
Yeah.
make this section like this? And like how do you describe
Yeah.
it to like a composer who has been learning it for like decades, and you're just like, can you make this part a bit more like
Like,
it's so weird. I think that was one of the funnier parts of making the film. Just like
oh my God.
describing music in words. But yeah.
It's like anything whenever you have a client and they're like, describing like, can you make it more like if it's a oh yeah. Can you make it
Can you
better?
make it better?
Wow. Yeah, like I find it crazy that you guys have to source all of that and do all that work yourselves. It's just like next level.
Yeah, they were really like preparing us for like just being in the industry, which is cool because maybe one day if like I ever become like a director or something, I would have that kind of like prior
Yeah.
knowledge of like what is the things we have to do, and
Yeah.
what do you say to a composer to tell them what you want to feel. But yeah,
Well, that's really fun that you were able to do that and really put something together cool. I remember when I was doing it, I was just downloading like free sounds off of some like free sound website. I remember like, yeah, that sort of fits. We'll use that.
oh yeah, I mean, some people did that too. We use like free sounds for like our animatic works because those are kind of just like temp stuff.
Yeah,
For my film, I decided to find a composer and a sound designer because sound and music is so important in my film. It
important.
really puts the beats in. It
Yeah,
it helps with the comedy, and I wanted to
yeah,
emphasize that. So I reached out to like composers and
yeah.
sound designers to like make it better. But I know classmates who just like did the sound designing themselves because they didn't
Wow.
need it. If they have like a musical setting, they don't need to have like a lot of sound designing
Yeah,
because the music is already like that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, wow. Well, given me a lot of ideas if I ever teach in the future. Yeah, it's absolutely like fantastic.
Yeah.
So I didn't ask before, what was your inspiration behind the entry? Like, how did you come up with this idea?
Oh, this is
Hopefully not from personal experience.
oh no, no, it's not personal experience. I always like medieval stuff. I love like the fantasy genre. I was really into fairy tales like growing up, so that was always a section uh of ideas that I always wanted to go with. And weirdly enough, this story or like this idea, it wasn't my first idea. It wasn't my
Yeah.
third idea. It was I think like my 297th idea.
Oh my God.
When we started pre-production, I sent my professor like a 7-page document of every single like log line idea, like
Yeah,
synopsis of films or like film ideas I wanted to make. Because when we got into the school, we kind of know the end goal is to make a film. So I started my freshman year going like, okay, I'm just anything I think of. If I wake up one day from some like weird dream, I'm just gonna write it down.
right
Maybe
down.
it might be a film one day. So I wrote it down, 7-page long. I think there was like 290 like 3 things on it, and all of them got rejected.
Oh my
So I had
God.
to come up with like more stories for this. So yeah, my professor really like he is like I am the director. I made most of this, but I really wouldn't have this film like without his help. He
Yeah,
really like guided me to it. He kind of like grounded me in a way to
yeah,
like, okay, I know you have a lot of story ideas, but pick ones that you would want to make into a film.
yeah.
And
You want to work
actually,
on for a year.
yeah, and actually, this story it didn't have a knight at all or like a princess. It originally was about a queen who had to like turn back like time to kind of like do
Yeah.
good deeds so that she doesn't get put to the guillotine. But I thought like the idea was like, it's kind of weird if like that kind of redeems her just because she did a couple of good deeds. If she was put on the guillotine for a reason, right?
Yeah,
So we kind of reworked the story. We put things that I like, medieval fairy tales, and then ended up with this film. Yeah, it was really inspired by like my love of medieval stuff, a lot of
yeah,
like Looney Tunes,
yeah, yeah.
kind of like feels. And also that scene from Enchanted where Prince Edward gets run over by a bunch of bicycles. That was definitely a big inspiration for the film.
It's definitely that old school slapstick humor, isn't it? When you mentioned Looney Tunes, I was like, that's exactly. I can see
Yeah.
Looney Tunes in that, just that, beating each other with a stick sort of humor. That's the kind of humor we don't see in kids shows these days.
it, it's a lot of things that like I subconsciously got from like my childhood of like watching Looney Tunes,
Yeah,
watching Disney, watching so
yeah.
many animated films growing up, and then it just like turned into like some weird morph of like what you see right now.
That's actually interesting. I was just thinking last year's winner in 3D animation, they also did a bit of a dark twist on the 3D animation category. It
Was
just
it
like
Alex
really,
Tulum who
yeah.
won
Oh,
that?
there was the Deathathlon they did with
Oh,
the Grim Reaper. Trying to remember whether they won or
oh,
whether they,
Final Destination.
yeah, Final
Yeah,
Deathland, yeah, that one, yeah,
Marika's film. Yeah,
that was amazing as well. And I'm just thinking back, and I
yeah.
remember watching that on repeat. It was so good. And
Yeah, Marika was the senior that I reached out to for my
oh
composer and
really?
sound designer. So if you actually look at her credits and my credits, we have the same composers and sound
Oh
designers because she
wow.
recommended them to me. Yeah, Marika's
Oh
really
goodness.
nice and she's really talented. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh gosh, you both are. It's yeah, I definitely love seeing like 3D animation done for adults, like with a bit of a darker twist. I think it's
hmm
just a really cool genre. Like, that 3D animation doesn't just have to be for kids.
yeah,
You can address some really dark,
yeah.
interesting
Because
topics.
animation itself is a medium. It's not really a
Yeah,
genre itself.
exactly, exactly.
There is, there's fantasy animation, there's
Yeah.
horror animation, there's of course like there's like the kids ones,
Yeah.
but there is like a whole it is a medium, just how like theater is a medium for art and like live action
Yeah.
films is another like a medium for art. So I don't know, I always believe that animation is for like all ages, no matter
Me too.
like the
Yeah.
like no matter the age. So having like I guess like darker themes in a way is like something that I always like, okay, I don't want to go like full blown like dark theme, but I don't want it to be just like, hey, it's like PG, like
Yeah. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
kids. Although I know he does get like decapitated, so maybe not like the not maybe not the younglings watching it, but he survives.
No,
It's
that's
fine.
definitely 15 and older.
He survives. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It survives, it's fine, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
No, I would love to see more animation like this coming up in the future. I like, yeah,
definitely.
I'd love to see more of it. Like, hopefully it takes off at some point.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm hoping one day, if I get the opportunity to make like films like you see like in
yeah,
like the movies, that can address more. I guess it wouldn't be like serious topics like in general, but just like it's not just for like babies to watch when you're bored kind of thing. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I think we're going to wrap up here very shortly. I would just like to finish up by, I guess, asking you, do you have any advice for the people watching and for anyone that wants to enter the rookies either next year or in a few years' time? What advice would you give them having gone through it?
I don't know. I think the most difficult thing was like kind of like believing that my story will work out. There's so many times where my professor was also kind of like my therapist in a way, because I would just go to him going
Love
like
that.
Paul, like this story is not going to work. I don't know how to make this. I don't know how to make a house. I don't know how to make an environment. How am I going to get the dress to work? And everything worked out in the end, but like going through that, it was definitely a challenge. And I think one of the things that I learned like going in and making a film is that you are the first fan of this story. You know, you're gonna get fans afterwards. There are people watching, but you're the first person looking at it. You're the first
Yeah,
person who has to like it to get it working. So you kind of have to like believe in the story and like the storytelling process. So it is something that a lot of artists need to like confidence is not something in art. This is
no.
usually associated with, and I'm still kind of like struggling, to like be more confident with myself and with my art. But yeah, I think the most important thing with anyone, not just like entering the rookies, like or like making a film, is just like
Yeah,
believing in yourself more. And there was a time where I was like, should I even apply to the rookies? I don't think anyone's gonna like it,
yeah,
and in the end it won. So like yeah, you're the number one fan of your film. You're the first one who's gonna be able to see it. So like if you believe that it's gonna have at least one person watching it, and like it, hopefully that person would be you.
that's
Yeah.
amazing. I wish I had that advice when I was in school.
And I mean, a lot of advice I got from like my professors and them like talking to me, giving them like their experience in life. One of my favorite things to do, when I was in school, was to go up to my professors like during lunch and like sit like literally sit among like all my professors at lunch. Like usually you're like hanging out with your friends, and I'm just like the weirdo who sits with the teachers, and I'll just ask them like, oh, like can you tell me, you know your
Yeah.
stories, your experiences in the
Oh, I
industry,
love
because
that.
you always see like the film at the end of it. You
Yeah.
see only the end goal when the film is done, but there's so much like process, and it's a whole entire journey, like a Mount Everest high journey of like people like changing the film, making the models, going
Yeah.
through all of the stress, and like they have like the wackiest stories to tell, and like listening to them like tell their stories about how much they hate like film, how much they wrecked their office. My professor literally took a sledgehammer to the wall and like busted a hole so he could see his friends again. That's a whole that's a whole another story that
Oh
for
God.
another time. But
Oh,
like listening to their experiences, I really kind of like ignited my passion and kept me going because like, hey, my life is not just going to end at the end
yeah,
of my school year. I'm
yeah,
not just going to spend my entire life just like doing like crunch work and like sleeping at like 7 a.m. then waking up at 8 and working
yeah,
over and over again. There is like a there is a life beyond
yeah,
like animation work, going outside, experiencing
yeah,
things that I want to be able to tell to other people, down the line of like the
yeah.
weird things that happen in my life.
Oh
So
my goodness, that
yeah,
makes like I bet your teachers would have absolutely loved to have like have someone listen and like want to
he
listen to
loves
those
it. He
stories. They
like
would have
my
loved that.
Yeah, Mr. Paul loves to tell stories of his experience at Blue Sky, especially now that it's like not, it's no more.
Yeah,
Those are like the memories that he has left
yeah,
because this company's like, it got shut down by Disney. So those are
yeah,
like the little things that he can keep with, like, with him that he can like remember fondly. And like I hope, maybe like the films I make and hopefully maybe even this film like people
yeah.
can like remember and like go like the stupid prince died. I don't know. What an idiot.
Oh my goodness. Well,
I love my
I
I
think
love
it's
my
a film to
characters.
remember. I'll remember it. And I'm sure next year when I'm, looking at next year's winner in animation, I'm sure we'll reference back to this one and talk about it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
it's
definitely. Being an artist is always about like kind of like putting yourself like in the world so that someone will remember you after you die. That's always what I think it is, at least anyway.
the life to its
So
fullest.
yeah, hopefully the internet lasts long enough so that it stays on the internet.
Hopefully the internet lasts. I think you're gonna be all right.
Yeah, yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed, guys.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Alex.
Yeah, it was so
It's
nice
been an
talking to
absolute
you
pleasure.
again. Yeah, honestly, I wish we could have talked more.
Well, like keep me on LinkedIn and keep me on all the
Oh,
socials. I'm gonna
definitely. Yeah,
definitely keep following your work. I always love seeing like where everyone ends up like a year or two down the line. And if you ever have any
yeah,
questions or concerns or anything like that, reach out to any of us. We're always here to help. All right.
yeah. And if anyone wants to like follow my film and keep up to date with it, I have like an Instagram, DN Animated. That's you can like find like updates on the film there. It's gonna be on YouTube. It's gonna be on Vimeo when it comes out. Like I said, there's no official release date other than
Yeah.
I'm hoping for end 2022.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're interested in like watching the full film, definitely like check it out there and feel free to like message me if you need to because I'm always happy to talk to people and tell them about my experiences.
Well, thank you for being such a positive, I don't know, such a positive member of our community. I know other people really, really admire that and really want that. I had that issue before, don't worry. Yeah, thank you so much for being such a positive in our community, and hopefully we can continue. We'll continue to follow your work and stay in touch. All right.
Yeah, definitely. Hi, Christina. Thank you
See you
so much for
later.
this opportunity.
Of course. See you later. And stick around. I'll show the Hashara once again for those who didn't get to see it at the start. See you guys.
Bye.
My dear, don't forget our wedding's at 3.
Fear not. I shall return a hero.
No. That's the end? No. We're supposed to be married. What about my happily ever after? Hold on. Wait. Stop!
Return a hero.
No, wait. Come back.
Worry not, my darling. For your
wait,
love, I
listen.
shall slay the dragon and return a hero.
Why am I marrying